Man, you guys have no idea how powerful God is. I'm not playing with you guys. People might say that I'm crazy, or people might say that I'm preaching or whatever, but I'm gonna try to keep this story as short as possible, right? But so when my mom passed away, she passed away in Vietnam, right? She was buried in Vietnam too, and I was 18 when she passed, and every year on the anniversary of her passing in March, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a mama's boy, so I'd be in the cell by myself. I wouldn't go out that day. I would just stay all day in the cell. I wait for my cell to leave, and I just sit there in my little cell and I breathe, Go up and get in my bed and cover my head with my blanket, go underneath the blanket and just cry. They don't want nobody see me or whatever, because I was in prison, couldn't show that kind of weakness, But every year I used to cry like a baby, And every year I would sit there and try to picture like what her gravesite looked like. I would try to imagine it in my head, and I would try to imagine myself going to pay my respects to her. And so I didn't know what it looked like, so I would basically imagine her gravesite looking like the same gravesites that my homies are buried at. Because I got a gang of homies, homegirls that had passed away. So in my mind's eye, which my mom is buried in Vietnam, it looks like the cemeteries over here in America. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could picture as far as a burial, And I used to always wonder. And every year, same thing. Same thoughts, same grieving, same thoughts. Nothing changed, right? Fast forward, she passed in 2001. Fast forward to 2018, somewhere around there. Not to preach or whatever, but I gave my life to God, I decided to take a different route. I decided to open myself up spiritually. I came to see that the life that I was living, it wasn't working. It was just chaos, madness, and pain, headaches, and heartache, I said, something got to give. You got to try something different. And so I started searching my soul, you know what I'm saying? I started opening myself up spiritually. You know what I'm saying? I read books on Buddhism. I read books on the Quran. I read all kind of stuff, right? But Christianity was one of the things that really appealed to me. And I could get into all that later, but that's when I decided to give my life to the Lord, right? And in the midst of doing so, I started understanding that we are God's hands and feet, right, and His mouth, and we are vessels that He manifests Himself through. He uses us to go show others the love of God, right? In prison, it's a world full of a lot of broken people, a lot of sadness, a lot of pain in there. So what I used to do is on your inmate ID card, it says your birthday on your inmate ID card. So what I used to do is at school or in groups or at work, everyone would have to turn in their IDs. And I used to go sneak and go look at people's IDs, and I'll take down their birthdays, and I'll go mark it on my calendar in my cell. And every day I wake up and I look at the calendar and it'll say who's birthday today, and I'll go and I'll do something. And I'll give that person a honey bun or a snack or something, and I'll just write them a little note, just happy birthday, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay blessed. I hope you enjoy your day. Small gesture, but small gestures for someone that's been incarcerated for how long, or someone that don't have a lot of family support, or someone who doesn't even celebrate their birthday anymore because prison, you know what I'm saying, ruined that for them. Those small gestures go a long way, Well, anyways, one day I woke up and I looked at the calendar, and the day that I looked, it was the day of my mother's anniversary of her passing. And the name on the calendar that day was someone that I had bumped heads with, right? Someone who I wasn't getting along with at that time. And basically like I washed my hands of this person. That person had nothing to do with me. I had nothing to do with him. I was like good on that person, right? Still a baby Christian, didn't fully understand what forgiveness was, right? And so I struggled with it. I was like, I prayed to God. I was like, God, I can't go and show this person love. I understand that you want me to, you know what I'm saying, go out there and show others the love of God or whatever, but I can't do it. Like this person, me and this person, we don't see eye to eye no more. And I felt the Spirit just say like, look, you have to learn how to forgive. You have to let bygones be bygones. You have to be better, because now that you're with me, you have to be a new creation. Think differently. You know what I'm saying? Function differently, move differently. What you couldn't do before, you could do now with my Holy Spirit in you, you know? So I say, all right, I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to do what's right by you. What I can't do, I'm going to do according to you, you know? So instead of giving this person like a snack and just writing a little note, I decided to whip this person up a whole meal, a whole rice bowl, right? And I wrote a note. I said, look, happy birthday, bro. Yada. If you ever feel like talking, just give me a holler or whatever, you know? But other than that, I hope you enjoy your day. This and that. And I went out to the yard and I gave it to this person. When I went up to him, he was like looking all mean and mad and angry, right? And he seen me coming up to him. And if you bump heads with someone in prison and you ain't vibing with that person no more, and you see that person coming your way, you're more than likely get a trip, because you're like, if you come in my way, then you probably trying to come to knock me down type stuff, right? And we ain't messing with each other no more, then you give each other 50 feet. You feel me? Because other than that, if you break that and you try to come within my radius, I'm gonna take it as a threat. I'm gonna take it as a threat because I know that me and you have issues, and if I take it as a threat, then I'm gonna act accordingly. I'm gonna handle my business. You know what I'm saying? Before you knock me down, I'm gonna knock you down type stuff, right? But I walked up to him and I had this bowl in my hand, and it could have been a decoy. It could have been like a, you know what I'm saying, to throw him off type move. So he was really looking at me. But I guess he seen it in my eyes. He seen that I wasn't coming as a threat type shit, right? I just walked all the way up to him, just gave him the bowl and said, boom, here you go. Turned around, pushed off. The hardest thing ever for me to do. Like every fiber of my being, it was against everything I believed in. You know what I'm saying? But I did it. There you go, pushed off. I walked away, went to the other side of the yard, I sat down. I sat on the bench. I remember clearly I sat on the bench in front of the handball court. And I was just thinking to myself, like, damn. I started doubting stuff, like even my faith. I was like, damn, Danny, is this shit real? Are you really doing this shit that you're doing right now? Because this is totally not you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, is this shit real? Like, you really did this? But anyways, as I was sitting there, I had a moment. I started thinking about my mom. And I started wondering if she was proud of me, you know? My mom is Christian, she's Catholic. So I know she's up there in heaven with God. And I was sitting there wondering if it was a nice day, a sunny day. And I was like, I wonder if they're up there looking down on me right now. And if they're both proud of me. I wonder if my mom's proud of me. If I did right by her and God, you know? And I also started wondering like, about what her gravesite looked like again. And how I would love to go pay my respects to her. And what it would be like to go light incense and, you know what I'm saying, say my respects, you know. And in those thoughts, when I was sitting there thinking about all that, old boy came up to me. And he came up to me and I looked. And I could feel someone coming my way out of my peripheral vision. I seen him coming and he came up to me, this fool had tears in his eyes in the middle of the prison yard. And he asked me, he's like, why would you do something like that? Why would you do something like this for me? And I looked at him, I low-key choked up myself. I said, bro, tell you the truth, I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. I just know that the God that I believe in now, he just told me to love others regardless of what, you know what I'm saying? So regardless of what me and you had going on and us bumping heads or whatever, my God told me to just love on you. So that's what I did. It's beyond me. And the brother, he didn't believe in nothing at that time, but One thing he told me, two things I never forget. First thing he told me was, this note that you wrote me, he said, Danny, I will always keep this note forever to the day I die. He said, I'm gonna stick it right here in my wallet and I'm gonna keep it with me forever. And then he said, and this God that you believe in, I want to get to know this God that you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because he's seen the transformation that was happening with me. And that just like totally, that just floored me, right? So anyways, that night I went home, I went back to my cell. Still thinking about moms, still wishing that I knew what my mama's grave looked like the whole night, you know? They did mail call, I didn't get no mail that day. Mail calls usually around 4 o'clock. I didn't get no mail that day. Fast forward to 8 o'clock that night. I was kicking in the cell. Police came by the cell and was kicking my door. Boo, boo, boo. So what's up, man? I jumped up, went to the door and said, hey man, you got mail. And this is like old mail, like for whatever reason, they call it reroute. Like they had to reroute it. And they slid this big ass manila envelope through the side of my door, right? And I was like, what is it? It was from my sister. I got the envelope, whoa, hopped on my bed, whoa, ripped it open, whoa, pulled out a little note. My sister said, bro, I just went on a trip to Vietnam and I just want to send you these pictures of mom's grave. So I reached into this envelope, I pulled out the stack of pictures, and basically what I'm trying to say is God knew the desires of my heart. I always wanted to know what my mother's grave looked like. Since she passed away in 2001, I didn't know. Fast forward to like 18 years later, the day I chose to be obedient, the day I chose to put my feelings to the side and go do what was right by him, that very same day, I got a letter from my sister with a stack of pictures from when she went to Vietnam, showing me exactly what my mother's grave looked like. Because she took pictures of my mother's grave. And on top of that, when my parents fled Vietnam in the late 70s, I have a brother and sister that had passed away during that transition, right? They drowned in the ocean when my family was trying to escape. My brother and sister were buried at another cemetery in Vietnam than the one that my mom was buried at. But when my mom went back to Vietnam and passed away, around that time, they were building a new airport in Vietnam. So they told all the families that had people buried at this cemetery, they said, you guys can either dig your family members up or we're just going to build an airport right over the cemetery. So my family members dug my brother and sister up and they reburied my brother and sister right next to my mom. My mom's buried here, my brother and sister are buried right above her in the same plot. So when I seen the pictures, it just like humbled me, like, damn, God is so good. You feel me? Like, not only was I able to get the blessing of seeing what my mother's grave looked like, something I desired for so long, but my mother was able to reunite with her kids kind of through a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Because if they weren't going to build an airport, then my brother and sister wouldn't have to dig them up and rebury them. They would have just stayed there. But it just so happened the same year that my mother passed away, it's the same time that the airport was being built. So they were able to dig my brother and sister up and bury them with my mom. So my mom in death got to reunite with her kids. So a lot of people ask me, like, why you believe in God? I have my reasons, you feel me? I know he's real. I don't doubt it. People could doubt it or people could wonder all they want. But I know what he did for me. He gave me the greatest gift. And it is what it is. You feel me? Like, people be like, oh, you're weak. You believe in God, you weak. No. You talking to somebody that's a warrior, you feel me? There's no weakness about me. You trust and believe that.